Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Wisman here, and welcome back to another video here on the Central Network. Today, we are going to actually start on our brand new build, which is a haunted tower. If you didn't know, there is currently a build contest going on the network. If you check out, I think 3 videos ago or so, I announced it with all the rules and how you guys can enter. It is actually ending very soon on the 3rd of September. So I figured I might as well go ahead, build a tower to enter the contest. Now, of course, I'm not going to choose myself to actually win the contest because that would be a little bit lame. So because of that, I'm actually not going to build it as large as I might if I was trying to enter the contest. The size for the tower is supposed to be somewhere between 20 by 20 and 40 by 40. The bigger, pretty much the better, as long as you can keep it detailed and looking nice. So we're probably going to aim for more around the 20 by 20 size just so that this build doesn't take an insane amount of time. Since I'm not going to be using this build as the winner either way, it doesn't really matter. So let's go ahead, and I guess first things first, we need to terraform this area a little bit so that we can actually have a platform to start building on. All right, so I've actually gone ahead and kind of built up the terrain around this little area. I moved it over a couple blocks so that it lines up perfectly with the arena. And that way we kind of have a central line here where we can bring the path down in and be right at the front door of our tower. So I still haven't really decided on the exact style that I'm going with for this tower, but I do want to make sure that it kind of fits the area a little bit. So I want to actually build it into the terrain rather than just leaving it as a flat platform here. So I think what we're going to do is build up kind of more of a hill here and then build the tower into the hill, and then on this back side here we're going to kind of make that like a cliff face. So we'll make it quite a bit taller, and then we'll make it kind of have a drop off and make it all like stone overhanging. It's hard to explain. I'll show you guys exactly how it turns out when I get a little bit closer to actually building, but I think the first step should be in actually kind of doing like a little rough draft of the build as well as getting the terrain in place. Okay, so this is the platform on which we are actually going to build the tower. Now, you can kind of see the general idea of what I was saying with the stone. Now, obviously, we aren't going to leave this completely flat walls. I just wanted to get it in place so you guys get an idea of what I was talking about. We're going to kind of make it overhang a little bit on the top and kind of go inwards a little bit on the bottom. And that should kind of give it an effect like over here with what we did on the side of this hill. Not exactly like this, but pretty similar, and that way we can get a little bit of shape in this kind of hill that's kind of like the backside's more of like a cliff face. But I do want to work the grass and the dirt up into the front so that instead of being a sharp edge here, it's just kind of a slope up a level. We'll see if I can get that to work, and I will be back with you guys once I've made a little bit more progress. I promise we're going to get to the actual build part of this very soon here, but I want to get the terrain right before we even jump into that. All right, so there's still a lot of dirt that needs to grow back into grass, but you can get a pretty good general idea of what I was trying to go for. So in the front here, I wanted to kind of build it up so it looked a little more natural with the slope going up to the top of the hill. And then if we actually fly around this side, you can see the whole back is sort of like a cliff face, so you can't really get up from back here. You have to come in the front. And then we're going to build the tower kind of like right around this area here on the hill. I also added this little area that kind of goes up a little bit just so that it wasn't completely flat, and I think overall it does look pretty good. We could go through and add some cobblestone and some gravel and some slabs and stairs and different things like that to kind of detail up this area, but for now we're going to leave it just as is, and we're going to get to work on actually laying out the building itself. So before I start to build, I always like to go into creative mode, and I like to kind of get like a block palette of different blocks we can use in the build that will look good together. And I wanted to actually check out the nether brick. So I know with the server texture pack we actually have, nether brick has a pretty cool custom texture, but I don't think it really goes all that well with other blocks in Minecraft. It just kind of looks out of place. So you really have to go with like nether brick and maybe even maybe wood in order for it to look all right. I'm not entirely sure, but I don't think we're going to go with that. We're going to stick with the regular Minecraft textures. Although I do really like the temple stairs block. I don't necessarily like the temple brick stairs, but I think this is a pretty nice texture, so we might try to work that in, and I think it'll work well with like a haunted tower theme. So let me actually grab the other main temple block. I think that'll be nice. All right, so this is kind of the main blocks that we're going to be using for this build. So we're going to stick with the dark oak wood because I feel like that's probably the one that fits the haunted theme the best. It's like the darkest brown wood you can get. Spruce would be okay, but I think this will work a little bit better. Spruce does have a lot of red in it, whereas this is more of just like a pure brown. And I think it looks a lot better with the different stone blocks, whereas spruce might work better with some other wood. Now, I do want to go ahead and say that I really love the idea of using stained glass in order to kind of make like mystic, magical looking. It was something kind of magical around the build using that sort of a design. And then, of course, we're going to have the podzol and the mycelium, as well as a bunch of leaves all out around the build. We have black concrete, gray wool, as well as, of course, the dark oak planks. And then all the different stone textures that we can use to make this build look great. Now, I actually look at it now, and I'm not entirely sure if the temple blocks really go that well with this build theme, but I think they add a nice little variety. So I know this kind of looks weird from here, but the plan is to have the main tower in the center, a smaller kind of side room here, which is only going to be one floor, and then another smaller floor here, which is going to be one floor, and then have kind of like a balcony on top of it, and then the main tower will probably be 3 or maybe even 4 stories high, so it's an actual tower. This is kind of just how I build. It's a little bit weird. I just spam down blocks to get an outline of the build, and I go from there. Sometimes it works out and looks really nice. Sometimes it looks really terrible, but it does take me a pretty long time. I am in creative mode just for laying out the design of this build, and honestly, I'll probably stay in creative mode for the entirety of the build just because it's a little bit easier than building in survival, and because I'm not actually entering the contest myself, I figure it really doesn't matter that much. I just really wanted to build a haunted tower of some kind since I've seen so many of you guys doing it. I've got a little bit of inspiration, and I really want to actually try to make something that looks nice. I have not built in Minecraft in a very long time. Usually I'll just build something once like this arena, and then I'll just build it multiple times until I get bored of it. But that arena is pretty nice, so I kind of have to live up to that with this haunted tower. Now, I think it's positioned all right. It might be better if it kind of met the edge of the island a little bit closer, but I think we're fine. I'm going to go ahead and start placing down some blocks, see what I can come up with, and see if we can make this build look interesting. All right, guys, so this isn't my greatest build ever, but I kind of just was spamming down random blocks and ended up with this. The roof is a little bit, I guess you could say, out there. It's very bright, and it really stands out, but I think it looks all right, and I think the overall build does look decent. Now, I didn't actually end up building these little offshoots yet, but I think I'm going to go ahead and try my best to do those now. I don't necessarily like every part of the build, but I think it looks overall pretty decent. This was about maybe 25 minutes, 20 minutes of me just placing blocks kind of randomly. And I went into it without any real idea of what I was doing. So I just built kind of one layer at a time and eventually made it all the way up to the top. I do like these really big windows here at the top. We don't actually have any interior at all in this build right now. Maybe we'll get to that, but probably not in this episode. I did a little bit of landscaping, but not too much. And overall, I think it does look, it looks all right. So I just kind of laid out the framework of the 2 side parts that we're going to be adding to the tower, and I think that's probably good. So we'll have the roof that'll go slightly higher than where these blocks both are, and I wanted to kind of offset them a little bit so it adds a little bit more depth and detail to it. It doesn't look completely flat, and I think that'll be pretty good heights for either side. We'll do a little bit taller on the left and then a little bit shorter on the right here. But overall, actually, just even doing that kind of picturing it in my mind, that's going to make things come together pretty well. All right, guys, so I've pretty much finished up. I probably could keep going and adding more detail and stuff like that, but I think it turned out actually really nice. I did actually add a chimney over here. I definitely could do more work on making the chimney look nicer at the base, but, you know, I've been working on this for probably about 45 minutes, maybe, at this point, and I went into it without having much of a plan, so I'm pretty happy with how it ended up turning out here on the island. I think it looks really nice. You guys can let me know what you guys think, of course, down in the comment section below. I am not going to be doing the interior right now. Like, this side room really doesn't have much space at all anyways. It's kind of just a tiny little room. But I was thinking it could be a pretty cool place for, like, a secret passage or just a staircase down into a basement. And then over here, there is a little bit more space where you could actually do some stuff. This is actually the chimney right here. So you could turn that into a fireplace, or you could just use that space for storage or something. And then, of course, we have the giant tower that goes up pretty high. You could probably fit 1, 2, 3, 4 floors probably, and then maybe even an attic above the 4th floor. So I think it actually, I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. There's some details missing, like some blank walls that don't really have much detail, and usually I like to kind of spruce things up a little bit and make it look a little nicer, but I feel like, you know, I'm pretty proud of myself for actually mostly finishing a build in one episode. That usually doesn't happen. I usually just build like the front half of the house, because that's all people can see anyways. But yeah, you know what? That's actually pretty cool. So I'm not going to go ahead and actually end this video here. I want to actually get myself some ghost Pokemon. We have our tower. We need some ghost Pokemon. We actually have 2 ranch blocks that we're not really using at all. So I figure we take these ranch blocks, we put them around the tower, we put some ghost Pokemon in them, and that way we have a little spooky effect of having our ghost Pokemon flying around the tower, and that could be pretty cool. So let's go ahead and try to do that right now. We have actually a Ghastly already. I'm going to go into survival mode. Now that I'm done building, we can go back into survival mode. I did build this entire thing in creative just because building it in survival would have taken many more hours. And since I'm not entering the contest, there's no point in really spending that time in survival mode. Although maybe I should have. I don't know. Maybe future builds I'll do in survival. My problem is sometimes I don't necessarily like spending too much time on building. So when I get into survival, I don't like adding the same amount of detail. And since I don't build too often, I have to kind of build things, tear them down, build another thing, tear it down over and over until I get something that looks nice. Whereas if I built more often, I'd probably be able to get it on the first try a little bit more frequently. All right, so we got our 2 ranch blocks. Let's go ahead and grab those. We got our Ghastly, which is one of our 4 Pokemon, but we really need some more in order to make this work. And I do want them to all be ghosts. So we could do like Crobat and like Umbreon, but they're not ghost Pokemon. So I don't think they'll be good. Ooh, Shedinja. Shedinja could be a good one. So we'll do Shedinja, Ghastly. Do we have any more ghost Pokemon? I don't see any. I could be totally blind and just missing one right now, but I don't see any other ghost type Pokemon. So I think we'll have to go on the GTS and see if we can find any there. All right, we got ourselves a Gengar. Cost 25,000 coins. Totally worth it. That is the same as our Ghastly, same evolution line, but I'm not really seeing too many. We could just buy a Mew. That's Psychic. Could buy a Marshadow. Is it worth it to buy a Marshadow? Or we could just buy a $65,000 Ghastly. I'm trying to think. It might be worth it. Oh, is this one cheaper? Oh, 2.5 mil. Since I honestly do not care about the actual Marshadow, it might not even be worth that. Wait, let me finish looking through, because we found one that was 5 million. I almost bought that. So let me look through all of this. Make sure it is the only Marshadow in here for that price. We can't get a better deal. Looks like it is the only one. So you know what? Let's just go for it. Why not? We're rich. We still have, even after buying that for 2.5 million, we still have 12 or 11 million coins, something like that. So definitely worthwhile to have a Pokemon for our ranch blocks just to look cool. So we got a Marshadow, we got a Gengar, we got a Ghastly, and we got a Shedinja. Now let's go ahead and put these ranch blocks down. I think I'll just put them like here and here. And we'll just go ahead and toss our Pokemon in like that. They're not in the best positions, and they don't seem to really walk around too much, but you know what? At least they're here, and at least we have Gengar. Get out of the wall, please, Gengar. Gengar, please get out of the wall. Oh, well, that's better, I guess. You just blocked the door? All right, you know what? maybe it wasn't worth doing that, but I'll take it. You know what? It's better than nothing, and I think it looks pretty cool. And you know what? He's a ghost Pokemon, so we can just walk right through him anyways. I actually, when I was doing that, I wasn't 100% sure that was going to work, but it did. Okay, so you can walk through. I think you can just, yeah, you can walk through any Pokemon, so it doesn't really matter. But, ooh, actually, now that I look at this, it could be really cool. Like right, maybe, which side? Right here, I think. Like right in this area here, to build a giant kind of gnarly looking tree coming out of the ground. And then like all its roots could be hanging over the cliffside here. That could be really cool. Oh, now that I've had the vision, I have to do it. All right, I'm going to build myself a tree. So I'm just kind of spamming down blocks right now to try and get a general idea of what I want the shape to be. Now, honestly, that's not too bad. It might be a little bit too tall because it kind of makes the tower look pretty small. So if we go ahead and clear off the top of this, and I think right there, that is probably a pretty good height. All right, well, there we go. There we have it. I think that's pretty much how I'm going to leave things here. Yeah, that's probably fine. I just kind of spammed down a tree in maybe like 2 minutes, so I don't know if everything's perfect. I do kind of like how the roots kind of grow into the ground, and I'd actually like to kind of continue them out and maybe even having one come like through the rocks over here. And I went ahead and I used World Edit. I know it's cheating, but I'm the owner on the server, so benefits of that. Just to make the logs completely textured on all 6 sides so that they do look a little bit nicer. And I think it came together pretty well. We got our whole tower all completely built. That roof is still very, very bright, but I kind of like the two-tone with the roof there. So, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. If you guys have any suggestions for me, of course, let me know down in the comment section below if you have any ideas for what I should use this build for, because I was really just building it since we have a haunted tower contest right now. And I do think this is a pretty good theme for haunted towers. You get kind of like a castle tower stone theme, but you mix in a lot of the dark wood, and it ends up looking really nice, especially with the purples. And a lot of people would probably go ahead and spam vines all over this to make it look nicer, but I think it looks good as it is right now. If I was going to do vines, I would actually do leaves. So I could have like leaves up on the roof just kind of coming down like this, just randomly. And we could do something like that where it's like not actual vines like Minecraft vines, but you still get kind of a cool effect. Kind of got to make it a little 3D there. And then you can have like big bushes on the ground. And actually that doesn't look too bad. Of course, I'd have to make it look a little bit nicer, but just for spamming some leaves down, if we did that all over the build, it would look better. But I'm not going to bother doing that because I feel like that's kind of a little bit of a cheap way of making your build look nice, is just by covering it in leaves, because then you can't see the actual build. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and actually end things here. I've never really done a full building video, at least not for a very long time. Usually I don't even end up building a house on my server, so I'm pretty proud of myself for having 2 builds done this server, the arena as well as the tower. I'll finish up this road probably off camera, and if you guys want to come check it out in-game, it's /pwarp Wispin, and you can visit my island, and you can come check it out here on the silver server on PokeCentral.org. If you guys do want to join me here on my server and you've never played Pixelmon before, or you don't have it currently installed, there is a link down in the description to a tutorial on how you can actually install Pixelmon. You can use that link. It'll only be a few clicks to actually install Pixelmon, but like I said, there's a tutorial link down there, And if you guys actually need any support at all, you can go ahead and jump on into my Discord, which is also linked down below. We have over 19,000 members. It is a partner Discord channel, and we actually have a support channel there where you guys can get help from the entire community. So you should get a response fairly quickly if you're having any issues at all. But with all that aside, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.